Have you ever wondered if a great flood like the one in Moses' time could happen again? The thought of such a cataclysmic event is both terrifying and intriguing. Throughout history, floods have been a symbol of both destruction and renewal. They wash away the old and bring forth the new, but at what cost? Could our modern world withstand such a deluge? Could the earth be swallowed by water once more? With rising sea levels and climate change, the possibility seems more real than ever. Scientists warn us about the melting polar ice caps and the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. Are these the signs of another great flood, or merely the natural cycles of our planet? It's a question that has echoed through time. Ancient civilizations have left behind stories and myths of great floods, from the Epic of Gilgamesh to the tales of Atlantis. These stories, passed down through generations, remind us of the power and unpredictability of nature. But are they just myths, or do they hold a kernel of truth? The story of Noah's Ark, a tale of survival and divine intervention, continues to fascinate us. According to the Bible, Noah was chosen by God to build an ark and save his family and two of every kind of animal from a worldwide flood. This story has been a source of inspiration and reflection for millennia. But what lessons can we draw from it today? What if it happened again? Imagine our cities, our homes, our lives submerged underwater. The impact would be devastating. Modern infrastructure, despite all its advancements, is still vulnerable to the forces of nature. How prepared are we for such an event? Are we doing enough to mitigate the risks and protect our future? The Bible doesn't shy away from these tough questions. It challenges us to think deeply about our place in the world and our relationship with the divine. The story of Noah's Ark is not just about survival, but about faith, obedience, and the promise of a new beginning. It invites us to reflect on our own lives and the choices we make. It invites us to explore the mysteries of faith and the power of God. In times of uncertainty, faith can be a source of strength and guidance. It helps us navigate the challenges we face and find hope in the midst of adversity. The story of Noah's Ark reminds us that even in the darkest times, there is always a glimmer of hope. Join me as we delve into the scriptures. Together we'll explore the ancient texts and uncover the wisdom they hold. We'll seek to understand the lessons of the past and how they can guide us in the present. The Bible is a treasure trove of knowledge and insight, waiting to be discovered. Together, we'll search for answers about the possibility of another great flood. We'll examine the evidence, both scientific and scriptural, and consider what it means for our world today. The journey may be challenging, but it promises to be enlightening. Let's embark on this quest for understanding and prepare ourselves for whatever the future may hold. The story of the Great Flood is one of the most well-known biblical accounts. Imagine a world covered in water, every mountain peak submerged, every living creature except those on the ark gone. It's a powerful image of destruction and rebirth. Genesis tells us God was grieved by the wickedness of humanity. The earth was filled with violence and corruption. So God chose to cleanse the world with a flood, sparing only Noah and his family. It's a sobering reminder of the consequences of straying from God's path. The flood wasn't just a natural disaster. It was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world as we know it. It was a deliberate act by God, a divine intervention meant to cleanse the earth of its overwhelming corruption. This flood was a response to the depths of human sin, a reaction to the moral decay that had spread like a plague. The Bible tells us that God's heart was filled with pain. He looked upon his creation and saw the rampant wickedness that had taken hold. He saw the wickedness of humanity and knew something had to change. The world was no longer the paradise he had intended. Genesis 6:5 says, "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." This verse helps us understand the depth of the problem. It wasn't just isolated incidents of wrongdoing, it was a pervasive, all-encompassing evil. This verse helps us understand the depth of the problem. It was more than just a few bad apples. The entire orchard was diseased. It was more than just a few bad apples. The entire orchard was diseased. The moral fabric of society had been torn apart. The entire orchard was diseased. This was a world in desperate need of renewal, a world crying out for a fresh start. And so the flood came, not just as an end, but as a new beginning, a chance for humanity to start anew. After 40 days and 40 nights, the rain stopped. The relentless downpour that had engulfed the world finally came to an end. The skies began to clear, and the once tumultuous clouds started to disperse, revealing a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The waters receded, and a new era dawned. The land, which had been submerged under the vast expanse of water, slowly began to emerge. Trees, plants, and the remnants of the old world started to reappear, signaling the beginning of a fresh chapter for all living beings. God made a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy the earth with a flood. This covenant was a sacred agreement, a divine assurance that such a catastrophic event would never befall humanity again. The rainbow, a magnificent arc of colors, was set in the sky as a sign of this promise. The rainbow, a symbol of hope, sealed this promise. It served as a reminder to Noah and his descendants that the earth would be protected from such devastation. Every time a rainbow appeared, it was a visual testament to God's unwavering commitment to preserving life. Genesis 9:11 says, "I establish my covenant with you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." This promise brings comfort. It reassures us that despite the challenges and adversities we may face, there is a divine plan in place to protect and sustain life. This covenant is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even after the darkest storms, there is light and renewal. The serene landscapes and clear skies that follow a storm are a testament to this enduring promise. It tells us that God values His creation and will not unleash such destruction again. The flourishing nature and picturesque landscapes we see today are a reflection of this divine promise, a commitment to the preservation and nurturing of all life on earth. While the promise of no more floods brings comfort, it also raises questions. Could God judge humanity in other ways? Could our actions today lead to consequences as severe as the Great Flood? These are not questions to be taken lightly. The Bible tells us that God is just and merciful. He desires our well-being, but He also calls us to accountability. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah, destroyed by fire for their wickedness, serves as a stark reminder. While God's patience is vast, His justice is also absolute. Section 6. The world today, a mirror to the past? As we look around our world today, we see echoes of the past. Violence, greed, and corruption seem rampant in many places. Are we mirroring the same wickedness that brought about the flood? It's a question that deserves honest reflection. We are bombarded with images of suffering and injustice. Natural disasters, wars, and poverty paint a grim picture. While we cannot compare these events directly to the Great Flood, they should prompt us to examine our own hearts and actions. Section 7. Hope in the midst of uncertainty. Despite the uncertainties we face, there is always hope. The Bible reminds us that God is still in control. He is working through history, drawing us towards His love and grace. We are not alone in this journey. We can find hope in the promise of redemption. God offers forgiveness and a new beginning to all who turn to Him. We may not know what the future holds, but we can trust in God's unwavering love and faithfulness. To Section 8, Seeking Answers, Finding Faith. The question of another great flood is ultimately a matter of faith. The Bible gives us clues, but it doesn't provide all the answers. Our role is to seek truth, to wrestle with these mysteries, and to deepen our relationship with God. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting God even when we don't understand. It's about seeking His guidance in our lives and striving to live according to His will. Section 9. Keep exploring, keep wondering. So, could a great flood happen again? The Bible suggests that God's covenant stands, but it also calls us to live righteously and to be mindful of our actions. Let us never stop exploring these questions, but let us do so with hearts filled with faith and a desire to grow closer to God. Want to delve deeper into the mysteries of faith in the Bible? Subscribe for more amazing content. Keep wondering, keep seeking, and keep the conversation going.